Hey guys, welcome to O'Neill Family Farms. If you like what you're seeing today, I ask that you just consider subscribing and liking the video if you want. And if you don't, well, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't like me. I'm a really like.
See the tires on that sucker?
I think those are Firestones or Michelins.
Well, look how much taller they are than that. That's a 780 though.
Well, yeah,
what if
they
would that even go under our door?
Well, if you put the bin folds down. Got a lot of balers. Balers.
I think they do that for us though.
Waiting on that, I guess, so. Gross. It's like the JV team over there. What we're doing now, just we picked up our sprayer and taking it back home right now. The sprayer we got this year, we got a really cool feature. It was added by the wash department down there at John Deere. Instead of matching stickers, they just blew it off altogether. It happens. They're gonna replace it. It's so foggy out here. I'm getting radio stations I've never even heard before. Get out of the way. Know who's boss here. So what we're gonna be doing to this guy is putting a front fill hose on. There's already a fill hose on the side down here, but we're actually gonna put a front fill hose on just so we can speed up the filling process, especially during fertilizing, because instead of folding your booms in every time to fill from the side, you can actually leave the booms out and then pull up and just fill out the front. Got an RF4038. I'm just not sure what brand it is. It's generic like our chemicals. So what I mean by front fill, we'll be able to fill, I believe the last one we didn't do it last year, but we did it before on a, we used to have a 4940 sprayer, which is the model year older, but it was the larger machine. We came out here and then we just kind of route it back somehow along here to this fill. And I think we put a valve and stuff in here, but my brother's got the parts somewhere in his pickup, I think. So while I'm waiting for my brother to get the parts for this thing, there's something we wanted to put on this. So when we do our strip till, we put on fertilizer. In the cab, we've always used the foot switch to turn on and off the fertilizer. So what we're gonna do is add a height switch. I was actually talking to a neighbor about it, and I think he uses one of these. But it's built by Surefire Ag. And it's called a Mercury Implement Height Controller Switch. So usually we have height switches on our planters, and what they are is little switches that when you let the planter down, it's gonna automatically turn on whatever fertilizer you're using. And so that way you don't forget, because you'll get used to it, but there'll be always that one time where you make it like halfway through the field and realize you didn't turn on the chemical, or the fertilizer I should say. And so then you gotta back all the way up and reapply it. And so what these do is they'll just automatically turn it on and off for us. The problem with the one trippers is we never really had a good switch, and I never really researched it that much. I always thought about it till the last we actually got started, so I never did put one on. But when I was talking to our neighbor the other day, I don't know, we were talking about they had a height switch. I was like, you know, that's a good idea. I should finally just do it. So my brother said, yes, do it. So we're doing it. But now I just got to figure out where these mount to. I think it goes on the hitch somewhere, obviously. Place the Mercury switch on a 3-point arm or wheel frame that changes angle to implement. Okay. What I might do is just call in and see exactly where they do it.
Watching, son. Sorry, I'm unable to answer your phone.
How dare he? I'll kind of describe what a rate controller does and what a rate controller is, but what we do, you can put them on the implement themselves or you can put them on the tractors. We just got the first gen one. We put them in behind this cover back here on our tractors because we typically use the same 2 tractors for planting and strip till. That way we don't have to buy 4 rate controllers, we can just buy 2. And what that allows us to get away with is when we hook up to the one trippers, that rate controller will work for it, and when we hook up to the planters, it'll work for that also. What a rate controller does is it keeps track of, it utilizes the satellite to keep track of your speed. So when you speed up or slow down, so you have a set rate of, I want 5 gallon per acre. So what it'll do is it'll calibrate it so when you speed up or slow down, it'll keep that 5 gallon an acre rate instead of keeping a constant speed like you used to do. So I don't know who this guy is.
What's up, bro?
Nothing. Okay, now where were we? But anyway, it allows you to keep a constant rate, say you want that 5 gallon acre, or it also allows us to variable rate. Say we want to, as we go up this hill over here, we want it to put on more. So it controls that application of that fluid. It speaks to the pump, which will mount when we put the tanks on this tractor. We'll put what you call saddle tanks. And the pump for it will be, the computer will tell that pump what to do, how much to put out for the speed that it's doing, so it figures all that out for you. That's why you can also tie these automatic switches in, so when you let it down you don't have to think of turning it on and off all the time. So that's what I'm doing now, and if you have any questions about the rate controller, just please ask them in the comments below. Hey, I got these not rate controllers, yeah, and I didn't know where they usually mount those. Can you just mount those to the top? So yeah, these could be really slick, because all you got to do is these magnetize to that. And then when you let it down, the mercury switch drops down. Or when you lower this, that should be how that works. We'll definitely be doing some extensive research here at O'Neill Family Farms to make sure that that works well. I gotta find the cable that hooks up to it, so first things first. This is the plug-in to power it. You can, this connector will actually plug in up here, but I use that adapter so it's down lower. Here's the foot switch. That's your master turn on and off for the system. Clean your plug. I can't find the plug-in that plugs into the height switch right now, but it might be on the strip tiller itself. Right now, since the rate controller didn't have power to it, it wouldn't turn on to show up on the screen. So I'm gonna make sure it turns on first, and then I can make sure everything's updated on it. All right, nerdery stuff here. Let's go through this. All right, that's what I want to see, is the rate controller program show up. I'm not sure if it'll check for updates on it. For other stuff, yes. Now this will take an hour and a day. All right, what you got to do on these is it'll still let you update it even if you have the same version. So as you can see, you want to look at both these. So you can see we currently have the updated version, or the latest version I should say, and so we're good there. We don't need to install anything. I can actually send that over to the other screen. I'm not going to do that right now because all I want to show you is when I do get that height switch connected, I had to shut that off because it was activated. But this is what I want to have checked. And then you could also do other things, but we're not going to share it right now because we're selfish. We'll do that. So a question I got the other day from someone was if everything was going to be ready for us, available, like could we get, they asked seeds. How farming typically works is everything for this year has already been produced. All the seed, all your fertilizer, all your chemicals are pretty much right now are sitting in warehouses waiting for us to come pick them up or be delivered to us right now, if we haven't got it already on the farm. And so supplies for this year, as far as corn and soybean wise, should be put in place. So actually this virus thing probably happened at an okay time for stuff like that, because if it would have happened back in late fall and stuff, and this would have carried out a long time, then that's kind of when you see maybe the supply chain get weakened for for the stuff we need to put in the ground and chemicals we need to use and stuff like that. So this actually wasn't a bad time for that because everything's kind of put in place. The only thing that could be a hiccup is if you get a ton of truck drivers that are sick or, you know, just total collapse. But it doesn't sound like that's the case yet around here anyway. So I don't want to say never. It doesn't look like that will be the case. I mean, obviously nobody wants to get sick. No, we're actually sitting okay probably for supplies anyway. The biggest thing is depends on how long this thing lasts and if that'll affect the supply chain for next year. That would be the biggest concern as of right now. Also, like another concern for us personally is, you know, help's pretty limited on the farm. We got enough now, but we kind of run as what we need only. And say me or my brother got sick and we really got sick and we had to just quit for a few days or whatever it took, I guess, during an important, say we're planting or strip tilling, that'd be our biggest concern right now, I guess. So we're just kind of talking about things, seeing how we would maybe handle that. Luckily, Dad and stuff, we can always kind of pitch in and help each other out. I know it sounds funny, but everything's automatic anymore, but it still takes a pretty good, decent amount of education or training to kind of run one of these things, to know how it all operates. You just don't want to throw somebody in there that doesn't know anything to run strip tillers and stuff like that, because a lot of things could still go wrong. I mean, we could probably train somebody within a few days to operate it, but as far as like if it broke down or something like that, you'd still have to be there helping them out and stuff, because there's just a lot of things that I always hate it when people say you could just throw anybody in there, but you really can't, because there's still a lot of things involved in all this operation and how it works and setup and things like this. So that would be a small concern that we have right now, is just getting sick during the season. But it's something we're just gonna have to deal with, and we'll hopefully hope for the best and kind of plan on the worst and see where that takes us now. It's kind of dreary out, and I've seen the guys went in the shop or the office now, so maybe they're making big plans without me, so I better go see what they're doing. I've had like a small cold, light cold this past week, but during the heightened senses, everybody's like all in a little corn. Well, I guess one of the things I can do now is take the skid steer, go find some tank brackets and get some tanks moved around here. Take the 326E, put the forks on it. We store most of these tanks, most of the components of these tanks inside the shop. Just there are a couple brackets that bolt to the belly of the tractor that we keep out here. We keep the tanks themselves inside just so they don't get overdone, overcooked in the sun, I guess. Sure hope nobody's coming. So Dad's actually working on this, but he had to go. He's waiting for it to drain now, so he can put the fittings in there. He worked for 10 minutes, so he probably had to go have a sandwich or something. Just kidding. For those of you new to the channel, we've used these for probably the past, well, this will be the third or going into the fourth year. I can't remember. Maybe it's the third year. The idea behind these tanks is we put a lot of gallons on with our strip till machine, and these are about as big as you can get to put on the tractor. Being said that you can actually mount to the tractor. And so they're 600 gallons a piece. Well, usually most saddle tanks only bolt to the center section right here. If you can see these holes in here. And that's actually your transmission right there in the tractor. But the idea behind this is they distribute your weight a little better. They actually use your rear axle of your tractor along with that so you can kind of get a little more weight. And they worked really nice when you put them on versus the Billy ones. They just tend to be more stable. They work really well, especially if you're putting on a high gallon rate. If you're not doing too much like planning, say you're only putting on 5 gallon, I'd stick to 400s or 300s or something on your tractor, but we're putting on like up to 40 to maybe 50 sometimes gallon per acre with those. So, and the reason why we like to have them mounted on the tractor is in our hills, being able to pull something is harder to do, and keeping it not running over your track, your strip, I should say, on your strip sill. So that's why we go with the mounted tanks. It'd be nice if we had all flat ground, then we would just probably pull a tank, but that's not our case, and so we slap them on this gal. And then the other gal over there, we're not doing that one yet because we still got dirt work to do, and it's still hooked up to the blade, my brother's 8295R. I should say it's ours, but it's the one he drives. I wish we didn't have to do all this stuff because it's just more work. I wish I could just hook up to the strip tiller and go, which you can, some people do, and then just have it floated on later, but we just thought since we're making the pass, we might as well put the fertilizer in the strip, save some money hopefully that way, and be more efficient with the fertilizer maybe. I don't know. But the things we gotta do, unfortunately, is take our handy dandy step off here. We gotta take these mud flaps off there, and it's, I guess I should say it's the same on the other side. I painted my muffler the other day because it was getting kind of faded. Still got a dent there. I probably could have took this off if I was more ambitious with life, but I think that ding's been on there since we bought it. Wasn't me. You know that height switch cord that I've been looking for all day that I didn't want to tell you about because I didn't want you to think I was a bad farmer? Well, I found it. Apparently it liked being buried clear up underneath there. There is still some trash that apparently didn't get cleaned out. I didn't get cleaned out very well because I found it. Alright, America. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it works, I'm just backwards. See, it's that, this little guy in the corner here, that's what tells you. So, just a high-powered magnet is all that is. It's the simplest thing I've ever seen in my life. So now, we're down, 3 points down, start going up. Good. Before I get underneath that thing. Get underneath the tractor, everything comes into your eyeballs. It just, there's a funnel somewhere. It's physics, it's arithmetics, I don't care, it just falls right into your eyeball. Probably still bouncing there off of my cheek. Nope, let's go along. This guy might have to get help on him. I'm tougher than nails, but I don't think I'm tougher than bolts. Just kidding, I'm a wuss. Hey! Hey buddy! What you doing? What you got there?
Toys.
You got all this stuff in the shop and you bring toys. Hey pretty lady. You see the sticker that's missing? Yep. See that? See, it don't have John Deere on the side. It's just, we just paid for half. We saved like 30 grand. Should we still put the other sticker on though?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we didn't save 30 grand.
Yeah, what are you fixing on?
Oh, we're just overhauling the motor. Just something. Okay. I don't think he was impressed. Good thing I went with overhauling the motor and not putting a plastic piece of plastic back on. What?
Oh, you noticed today that
I hope this video finds you well, and hopefully you're not sick or anything, and hopefully we can get this past us sometime. But things are starting to get ready to roll. Starting to. Hopefully it dries out later this week. We can get back in the field. When we do, my brother will be doing dirt work, and maybe I can start if I can get a strip tiller on, we might start doing some. We'll just see how it goes. But today it turned out to be a really nice day. It was really foggy this morning, but thanks for watching today, guys. I really appreciate it, and God bless you all. So we'll catch you on the next one. Later.